Good day everyone. Ngayon ay i-report namin ang probability sampling or also called as random sampling. Probability sampling method is used by the researchers to select samples from larger population based on the probability theory requiring random selection of participants. So, sa method na ito, ang mga researcher ay pumipili ng kanilang mga participants or nag-select ng mga participants randomly. And probability sampling is the statistical method that ensures every member of a population has no non-zero chance of being selected. So, all elements of the whole population has an equal chance or independent chance of being chosen as a sample. At kapag ang researcher ay nakapili na ng kanilang sample, like for example, the whole population is the 1,000 individuals and kailangan lang ng isang researcher ng kanyang 100 individual na sample. And those 100 na sample na kanyang napili, sila yung magre-represent ng total population which is the 1,000 individuals. So, ayun yung probability sampling method.
Methods of drawing a random sample. It refers to the various techniques and procedures used to obtain a valid and reliable result in research. Methods of drawing a random sample. Fishbowl draw. Computer program. Table of randomly generated numbers. A fishbowl draw is a method where a piece of paper will place into a bowl or container to blindly select the samples. This process ensures that each sample has an equal chance to select. Computer program, it uses software or software tools to generate random samples. It ensures that the sample selection process contributes a reliable findings in research. Table of randomly generated numbers. It uses regenerated tables of random numbers. The quality of random numbers depends on how they were generated. However, it is still be used in situations where the technology is limited.
Simple random sampling. This method involves randomly selecting a sample from the population without any bias. It is the most basic and straightforward form of probability sampling. So, simple random sampling is a method where every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected for the sample. It randomly selected without any preferences or biases. This makes it basic and fair, ensuring each individual has an equal opportunity to be chosen. For the example, assume for the particular instance that the sample population is 1,000 participants. All the people are numbered from 1 to 1,000. Instead, you can number each individual from 1 to 1,000 or from 000 to 999. You are going to pick 100% or around 10% of the whole population. So, this illustration illustrates that in which the people are randomly selected in their population to provide the samples. We have a population of 1,000 individuals, each number 1 to 1,000. So, from this group, we are randomly selected the 100 people for the sample data. The systematic sampling. Using this method, a random beginning point is selected and then the one member of the population is chosen. In this method, you start by randomly selecting a starting point and then choose every interval member after the initial selection. This helps to maintain randomness while also providing a structured approach to the sampling. For the example, every third person may be chosen to be included in the sample. The same old method known as systematic sampling is extended when each member of the group is chosen at regular intervals to create a sample. With this sampling strategy, every member of a population has an equal chance of being chosen. So, the illustration represents the example by which the third person is chosen as the starting point and then the sixth and the ninth person as the intervals for the sample.
Cluster sampling method. This procedure divides a population class into clusters, randomly selecting a group from these clusters. When the population is distributed over a wide geographic area, this strategy is useful. Sa cluster sampling, we divide the populations into subgroups or clusters. And after we divided the population into clusters, we randomly select clusters. Or when we say randomly select or pagpili, it includes all the individual within that chosen cluster. So for example, the researcher wanted to choose 150 participants from the entire population of the province of Nueva Ecija. It is likely impossible to get a complete list of everyone. Instead, the researcher randomly selects areas. Example is cities or barangays. Randomly selects from within those boundaries. So, ang nagre-represent ng population dito is the whole Nueva Ecija or within the whole Nueva Ecija. And to choose 150 participants, we needed to divide it into clusters, which in these examples ay nire-represent ng mga barangays and cities. Stratified sampling method. So here, meron siyang pagkakaparehas sa cluster sampling, where the population is broken down or separated into strata or like segment or sections. This method is also known as quota random sampling. Another thing in this method, it allows the researchers to organize the population like based on their characteristics and attributes. Gaya ng nakalagay dito sa definition like age, sex, ethnicity. So we can see here in the left side, there is one group of people that represents the population. And in the right side, the population is divided into 3 groups or strata. And that divided groups or strata is based from their similar characteristics or attributes. And with that, the researchers will randomly select a participant from each strata.
To summarize, probability sampling starts with a complete sampling frame of all eligible units in the population from which to select a sample. In this method, each element in the population has an equal and independent chance of being chosen as a sample. Since these samples represent the total population, inferences drawn can be generalized to the entire population. However, keep in mind that this approach can be more expensive and time-consuming. There are also several ways to draw a random sample. First is fishbowl draw, which uses a traditional approach of drawing names or numbers from a bowl. Second, computer program, which employs technology to randomly generate a sample. Third is table of randomly generated numbers, which uses a table of random numbers to decide which individuals to include. Random sampling can be performed using sampling without replacement, where each element can be chosen only once, and sampling with replacement, where elements can be chosen multiple times, providing the chance for repetition. There are 4 main types of random sampling. 1. Simple random sampling. The simplest method where each unit in the population has an equal probability of being included in the sample. For example, assigning a number to each individual and using a table of random numbers to decide who to include. 2. Systematic sampling. In this method, individuals are selected at regular intervals from the sampling frame. This approach is convenient and easy to administer, but may introduce bias if there are underlying patterns in the order of individuals in the sampling frame. 3. Stratified random sampling. This involves dividing the population into subgroups that share a similar characteristic. This technique ensures representation from all subgroups and allows researchers to focus on specific strata. 4. Cluster sampling. Here, the population is divided into subgroups called clusters. The randomly selected clusters are then used as the sampling unit in the study. There are several advantages and disadvantages of probability sampling. Its advantages include 1. Representativeness, as it ensures samples are representative of the whole population, allowing generalizations of findings. 2. Objectivity, as it reduces bias through random selection, promoting reliable results. 3. Transparency and reproducibility, since methods are clear and easy to replicate, enhancing research validity. Disadvantages include 1. Time-consuming. Creating a sampling frame and randomly selecting samples can take time. 2. Expensive. The process can be expensive, especially for large and complex populations. 3. Complexity. Methods like stratified or cluster sampling require careful planning. 4. Practical challenges. Difficulties in accessing the population can hinder obtaining a truly random sample.
Thank you so much for participating in today's presentation on probability sampling. Ngayon, let's have a short quiz.
The correct answer is D. All these methods can be used to draw a random sample from a population: fishbowl draw, computer program, and a table of randomly generated numbers. The correct answer is A. Bakit? Probability sampling ensures that each element in the population has an equal and independent chance of being chosen as a sample, allowing the inferences drawn from such samples to be generalized to the total sampling population. Kaya ganun. Kung B ang sagot mo, capital R-O-N-G, wrong. Bakit B? Mali yun. A ang tamang sagot. A. The correct answer is A. The two types of random sampling are sampling without replacement, where each selected element is not replaced in the population, and sampling with replacement, where each element can be chosen multiple times. Kaya A ang sagot. Yun eh. Yun. The correct answer is A! Simple random sampling! Yay! Ang galing! Ang galing! Thank you for participating in the quiz and for joining our presentation today. Sana, perfect nyo ang quiz. Kung perfect nyo ang quiz, i-chat nyo lang si Ate Joanne nyo. Kung may mali kayo sa quiz, okay lang yan. Ulitin nyo na lang. Panoorin nyo na lang ulit yung video ito. Okay? Thank you! That's all. God bless! Yeah!